Hi kids, welcome back. So in today's tutorial, what we'll do is create a simple microbit game. Our game is called Whack-A-Mole. If you played that game before, you realize that it's a really simple game where you have a mole that appears on the screen, and you basically have a mallet or a hammer in your hand, and you use the mallet or hammer to hammer the mole. And the first person to do it, or the faster you do it, the more the points that you make. So the game is from a site called 101computing.net. You can check out the website in the URL bar mentioned above. It's a really simple game, and what we'll do is we'll design it such that if the mole represented by that line appears on the left hand side, you have to press the left hand side button, or button A, within a particular period of time, which in our case will be 1 second. And if the mole appears on the right hand side, you have to immediately switch to the right hand side and click button B within that reaction time of 1 second. So if you don't react within that time, you obviously will lose. So it's a simple whack-a-mole game, and we program that game on the BBC microbit. So if you have a BBC microbit, great. If you don't, you need to head over and pick a BBC microbit board. For those of you who haven't seen the microbit is a small little board that was designed by BBC and its partners in the UK. It was distributed to a whole lot of kids around the UK with the idea of getting them hands-on with computing. The microbit has grown into a global movement. Small but really powerful board. Lots of functionality, quite a few sensors on board. Has got LEDs, it's got a temperature sensor, it's got motion detection, it's got a compass, and a lot of useful features packed into a small little board. The other advantage of the board, a microbit board, is you can use it to do electronics, create a lot of interesting electronic circuits. You can also play around with robotics and do some interesting stuff. So let's head off now and let's get started with our tutorial. So what we'll do now is I will open up the so there we go. I'll create a new project, and we'll use the onStart block in that project, and I'm going to call this project Whack-A-Mole. Okay, so there we go. All of this is inside a single onStart block. For those of you who have not seen the MakeCode blocks before, MakeCode has a whole series of blocks: basic, input, music, LED, radio, loops, logic, variables, math, and a whole lot of advanced blocks. The onStart block is a block, or is within the onStart block you place code that only runs once. However, forever is a block within which you place code that runs forever or in a continuous loop. So we'll start out by putting down some text, and we'll say, so what we're going to say is show string 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Define a variable called game running. So I'll say set game running to true. Let's pick a while do loop. So we'll say while game running. I want to create 2 more variables now. I'll say mole position and I will say button pressed. Okay, so let's set mole position being the position of the mole. Let's say I'll pick random. I want to random, so I'll pick the random block within map, and I will say between 0 and 1. And I want set button pressed to false. I want a small little pause there, so what I'm going to do is I will use pause and I will say set button pressed to false. Okay. Okay, so set mole position to pick random, which is what we wanted, and button pressed to false. Okay, that's fine, and we have a pause of 100 millisecond. Now we want to put in an if else loop, so we basically put an if else loop. There we go, put the if else loop in there within the while do, and we'll say if the mole position is, so let's put a comparator. Where is a comparator? There's a comparator. If variable if mole position is equal to 0, which is what we want. If mole position is equal to 0, then we want to show LED. We want to basically show LED 1, 2, 3, and this. Else we want to show, I'll duplicate the block, we'll show LED, we'll show LED, okay. So that's it. Then we say set start time to running time. So what I want to do now is I want to create a new variable called start time. I'll create a new variable called start time, and I'm going to say start time, set start time to, so this will come right at the end of the if then else block. Set start time to, so what I want is I want to get, so I want to get running time, so start time to running time ms. Okay, and then I want to say put another while do loop. I need another while do loop, and I got another while do loop. So while button pressed, logic in there. So let's put logic. While button pressed is equal to false. While button pressed is equal to false. I need an if loop now inside that, so I'll just go for a simple if then loop that says if running time is equal to start time. So I want if running time is equal to, if running time is equal to start time, then I want to say game over, so we'll call it game over. Else we have an if else, we have an if, we need a if else if loop, so we have an if else if loop. I'm gonna put an if else if loop just below the if else, and that says else if mole position is equal to 0, so I need a complex, and if more position, so I need another one. If more position variable, so if more position is equal to 0 and button A is pressed, then set button press to true. Set button pressed to true and show LEDs. Show LED and change score by 1. Okay. Else if so, what I need again is I need one of these. I need comparator, mode position, and I need another one. Else if mode position is equal to 0 and button B is pressed, then set button B pressed to true and duplicate. Okay, and set button B to B, and sorry, you don't have this one over here, and you just say game over. Button B is pressed. Okay, and then finally you say if else if else if. So we made a bit of a mistake. What we want to do is we've forgotten to add, so there is a complex, so logic, an operator, while do, in the while do, so there's while, and within the if loop we had this go into that is equal to start time is greater than 1000. So running time ms is equal to start time. Right, if button pressed is equal to false, and if running time is equal to start time is greater than 1000. There we go, but it cannot be applied to Boolean. Okay, so the issue that we had there was that I was using a logical operator when what we actually needed was a mathematical operator. So I'll go back, I'll choose the mathematical operator, and when running time minus start time is greater than 1000, then you do whatever you need to do. Okay, so that's fine. Sorry, we fixed that now. So while button pressed is false, so we finished all of that, and now we're going right to the bottom, which is the last one. So we put another if else if, right at the bottom. There we go. We go if else if, there we go. So equal to if else if right on one. So we want to say if else if mode position. So we want to so we want a logical comparator block. Okay, so let's get that. Put there and say if, and then you want another one of that in there. So that is that. If sorry, you need and you need this in there, and then you need one of these in there. Then you say if mode position. Mode position is equal to 1. Sorry, mode position is equal to 1, and button B is pressed. Button B is pressed. Set button pressed to true. Set button pressed. Set button pressed to set button pressed to true, and just duplicate the block there, and we change scope by 1. Duplicate the change scope block again. Else if mode position, just duplicate this completely. Duplicate that completely. Okay, so I've got to put that back, but before I do that, so I just duplicated that block. Oops, what did I do? I don't know, I want to take the whole thing with me. Okay, so, and now I have basically else if, alright, so now I can take this whole block and I can put this whole block there. Else if mode position is equal to, else if mode position is equal to 1 and button A is pressed, then set button pressed to true. I'll duplicate this, just make it easier for ourselves, and we'll say game over. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and we don't need this block. I'm going to get rid of this. So I'm just going to go over the code, just make sure that I haven't missed anything out. So I've looked at the code. We've got all the code in there. There was one minor change that I made. This was set at 100. I increased the pause to 500. But very simply, if you look at the code, what we're doing is so basically we display the mole either on the left or on the right of the screen. Now, if the mole position is on the left of the screen and you have pressed A, then you get your score increases by 1. However, if your mole position is on the left but you press button B, then game over. Very simply, if mole position is on the right and you press button B, then you get a point, or if the mole position is on the right but you press button A, it's game over. So very simple game. Let's test it out. Whack-a-mole, and let's I might take these exclamation marks out to make it easier, and then that should help. Okay, I'll also download it to my microbit. In meanwhile, so we'll write it to the microbit and we'll say there you go. So that's right. So let's test the game out. Okay, 3, 2, So 3, 2, 1. There you go. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go, and I missed it. So there you go with the game. Pretty cool, pretty easy. I'll start the game again. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Okay, there we go. Oh, geez, there you go. So unless you move pretty quickly and you click on the side where the mole is displayed, and if you don't whack the mole within that half a second, you pretty much lose the game. That's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the game. I'll put a link to the code, the hex file, and the video on the site. If you have any questions, drop us an email. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you and cheers. Yeah, so here's just a view of the code, the entire code for the game. I think what's happened in the last couple of minutes of the video that's been recorded. I think the focus on the screen or the focus had shifted, and you couldn't see the actual code. So here's the code in front of you. Here's the entire code block, everything within the onStart function. I'll provide a copy of the code online, and I'll make sure that you can download the hex file as well. Okay, thank you.